we've seen some absolutely wild trades recently in the NBA. You had 5 firsts in a swap for Rudy Gobert. Last offseason, it was Mikal Bridges getting traded for 5 firsts in a swap. But after the Magic just sent out 4 firsts in a swap for Desmond Bane, we have to say NBA trades are out of control.
Yeah, I mean, at least with like Gobert and Bridges, you know, multi-time defensive player of the year for Gobert, Bridges borderline all-star. This trade for Desmond Bane, it's insane, and quite frankly, it's pretty fucking stupid.
Before we start talking about how NBA trades are out of control, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any new videos. So we know right now we're in the middle of a great NBA Finals. We'll have more NBA Finals content here soon, but after Sunday, waking up, getting that notification for Shams that Desmond Bane again traded for 4 firsts, 1 swap, KCP, and Cole Anthony, we had to talk about it. And first, let's break down these picks. It's kind of hard to break them down at this point because so many picks these days are so complicated with all the swaps and everything with that. But the first pick, it's the 16th pick in this year's draft, so pretty solid middle first round NBA draft pick.
That's as simple as it's gonna get, by the
Yeah,
way.
exactly. This next one, we're still a bit confused about it. It's the 2026 first, which most likely will be the Suns pick, we believe. The Wizards first have the right to swap their pick with the Suns pick. You'd think that was from the Bradley Beal trade. Apparently it's from some Royce O'Neal trade late, like before, I don't even know at this point.
Of course it is.
Exactly. And then we believe, as far as we understand, that the Grizzlies will have the choice of either the Suns pick or the Magic pick. But to be honest, we were reading up on it, doing some research, still not sure.
Well, we went on like Fanspo, which keeps track of like all first round picks for all the teams and whatnot. There's 4 lines of text to explain where this pick is going. Ridiculous. And then the Grizzlies also received unprotected picks from the Magic in 28 and 30, as well as the right to swap in 2029. Like Desmond Bane, he's a fine young player, but I mean, he's gonna be 27 by the time next season starts. He's locked into a contract where he's gonna be making over $40 million a year here soon. And through like the first 5 seasons in the NBA, he's never made an all-star team, never made an all-defensive team, never made an all-NBA team. He's Jamal Crawford.
Okay.
Like maybe a little bit better than Jamal Crawford, but he's like that level player. You know, he's Lou Williams, right? You know, he's a really good player, but he's not a star or anything.
Yeah, he's not a star. You know, he's a good starting level player, so it's just confusing from the Magic's perspective. I mean, there's a couple things you can note. They're getting off the KCP deal. He's overpaid. You know, he wasn't good for them their first year. That's something. He's a really good shooter, especially a really good catch and shoot guy. The Magic were historically bad, their 3-point shooting this year. And the East is going to be very wide open with Tatum and Dame out. Like, there's some reasons you can say for the Magic this trade makes sense, but given that he's never made an all-star team, like you said, given that he's just like a really good starting level player, it's insane that this was the haul it took to get him. So this got us thinking, like, NBA trades, these insane hauls these days. Let's look back at some trades, you know, 20 or even 10 years ago to see were the hauls that crazy back then.
Yeah, we'll start in the late 2000s. We'll start when the Grizzlies last traded away a star player, this time when they traded Pau Gasol to the Lakers. They got back Kwame Brown, Javaris Crittenton, Aaron McKee, the draft rights to Marc Gasol, and first in 2008 and 2010. This trade actually ended up working out pretty well for them because no one knew Marc Gasol was going to be probably just as good as his brother was. But like, this is what you had to give up to get Pau Gasol an all-star in his prime, right?
Yes.
3 bums, a prospect, and 2 first-round picks. Like, huh?
Yeah, and it was seen as a fleece at the time for the Lakers, but still, that was the haul. I mean, again, Marc Gasol ended up being so good, but he wasn't seen as that at the time.
He was like the 55th pick in the draft or something, right?
Yeah. We'll go back in time a little bit. Shaq being sent to the Heat. I know Shaq and Kobe had their feud, but Shaq's still like maybe the best center in the NBA at the time. He gets traded for Caron Butler, Brian Grant, Lamar Odom, and 1 future first. That's 1 future first.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Like, he was 3-4 years removed from being the MVP.
Exactly.
And he was still playing at an extremely high level. He was the Lakers' best player in that 2004 finals.
I mean, I think he was second MVP voting the following year.
Yes.
After this trade.
And a lot of people think he should have beat Nash to the MVP award. Also in 2007, KG, one of the best players in the NBA at the time, traded for a lot of players, you know, Al Jefferson, Ryan Gomes, Sebastian Telfair, Gerald Green, Theo Ratliff, Cash, and 2 first-round picks. I get it. You send out a lot of, like, assets in terms of players. You You know, Al Jefferson was solid. Sebastian Telfair was still young, I guess. They were holding on to hope that he could be something. Gerald Green, 2 first-round picks for a guy, again, who was MVP a couple years prior.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, in hindsight, terrible value in these trades, but let's go on to the 2010s and see how it was then. We'll start with the big one. Chris Paul traded to the Clippers in 2011 for Eric Gordon, Chris Kaman, Al-Farouq Aminu, shout out Blazers legend there, and 1 first-round pick. Chris Paul, easily a top 5 player, easily the best point guard in the league. I know people will say like Eric Gordon was a very young, promising player. Chris Kaman was coming off an all-star appearance, I think like a couple years previous to this, but 1 first-round pick, again, just 1.
Carmelo to the Knicks went for Wilson Chandler, Raymond Felton, Danilo Gallinari, Timothy Mozgov, Kosta Koufos, and 1 first-round pick in 2 seconds. Like, again, this was seen as like kind of a big risk for the Knicks because he's going to be out of contract in 6 months, so you could just sign him for free. But again, like 1 first-round pick to get Carmelo Anthony in his prime.
Harden, you know, not quite in his prime, but a young key piece for that Thunder team. He goes for Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, 2 first-round picks, and a second-round pick. Like, that's just still nothing for a young Harden who looks like to everybody was gonna be a future all-star. We do gotta say, to be fair, to not be biased, the Nets did have their awful trade around this time. Where they just sent out everything for an aging Paul Pierce and KG. So there was that. But I mean, there's other trades. The Jimmy Butler trade when he sent to Minnesota. They trade Jimmy Butler and the 16th pick in exchange for Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine in the 9th pick, which became Lauri Markkanen. Again, kind of seen as an underpay, but that was like around what it took to get a guy like Jimmy Butler around this time.
Yeah, I mean, you give up Butler in the 16th pick, and you get back 2 prospects, and you move up 7 spots.
Right.
That's, huh? Really? You can't get more for Jimmy Butler?
Yes.
Also, we had the Kawhi trade to the Raptors, where you get back DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and 1 first. Like, I know DeRozan at the time was seen as like an all-star. He had come off a season where he averaged, I think, 27 points per game, but not everyone knew he wasn't even remotely close to how good Kawhi was.
Right.
And you get back a guy who's not as good as the guy you sent out. Again, Poeltl's good, but he was a project at the time, and 1 first-round pick.
1 first.
Baffling.
I know Kawhi was seen as a rental at the time, but still, it's insane, the 1 first. And now fast forward, we had the modern trades. It really started with the summer 2019. The Lakers sent out basically every young piece they had. It was Brandon Ingram, it was Josh Hart, it was Zoe, and 3 first, one of them being the 4th pick in the 2019 draft to get AD. Now that completely worked, but still, that's a crazy haul. And then we made a video on it recently. Shea, Gallinari, and 5 first sent to the Thunder for Paul George.
And then, you know, the Gobert one, 5 first and a swap. I mean, to be fair to Minnesota, this one hasn't aged terribly. Again, it's just like you could have probably gotten Gobert for less and then had those assets to go out and get something else. And now you got the Magic. Like, I get it. They're a young up-and-coming team. They should be around for a while. You know, those picks, if they're good, aren't going to be very good. But, I mean, I just feel like he could have done better. Like, Bane, again, he's a good player, but when you're sending out that much, I feel like he could have waited and could have gotten a start. Maybe he could have gone and gotten KD for a couple years. Like, I know he's kind of a logjam because they have a bunch of forwards, but Bane is the best you could do for that. Hell, you could have gotten Anthony Simons for 25% of what you paid for Bane. Like,
1 pick. Like, yeah, we also mentioned the Mikal trade, 5 first and a swap. Like, love Mikal, plays every game, plays great defense.
Every team would love to have him on their team.
Yeah, but again, he's never made an all-star team, so kind of wrapping this up. When does it stop?
Man?
Well, I think it stops when a trade not only backfires, but like backfires immediately. Like, people were saying, oh, the trade backfired on the Clippers, you know, the Shea trade, but it didn't happen like right away. It took like 5 or 6 years for us to eventually get to the point where we're like, oh yeah, that was a mistake. Like when the Pierce Garnett trade backfired on the Nets, it happened like the next year. You know, they had that 1 year where they won, I think, 44 games, made the second round, and then everything fell apart after that. So if we get another one of those, maybe the Dame trade is the one that happens. Like, you know, they got 2 years out of it, and now Dame's torn his Achilles, and the rumors now seem like Giannis is going to stay, but maybe he doesn't if he goes somewhere. So if we get a trade that backfires immediately, again, I think it's just gonna be one of those things where it scares the rest of the league out of doing these for a little while. Also, something else I was thinking about, like, if this is what it takes to get Desmond Bane, like, does anyone in the league have enough assets to trade for like Giannis?
No, I can't even imagine what that haul would be. Maybe the Rockets, because they have Amen Thompson, they have Jabari Smith, they have these young players.
I guess if Oklahoma City wanted to detonate their core for some reason, they could do it.
But if Desmond Bane goes for 4 first in 1 swap, then...
And 2 rotation players.
Yeah, just by, looking at 1 + 1 = 2, Giannis is worth like 10 picks, maybe 15 or something. Like
maybe the stadium too.
Yeah, the stadium, the private jet, whatever they have. This is just insane. And yeah, at some point it feels like the market's gonna crash, but every single offseason we get more and more ridiculous trades. So with KD and Giannis, being rumored here soon, it's just gonna continue. So what do you guys think? Is this just how NBA trades are now, a bunch of future first? Or will trades eventually come back down to normal with some realistic value? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving a like, and hey, while you're here, check out some of our other content as well. And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.